The VIP Protection Unit officers caught on film relating to a vicious assault on the N1 in July appeared in the Randburg Magistrate's Court today. They have been charged with 4 counts of pointing a firearm, 2 counts of malicious damage to property, 1 count of reckless and negligent driving, 3 counts of assault with intent to do grievous bodily harm, 1 count of attempting to defeat the ends of justice, and assault by way of threats. The men form part of Deputy President Paul Mashatile's security detail. Let's discuss these developments now with Daniel Eloff from Hunter Spies Inc, who is representing one of the victims. Daniel, good evening to you and welcome. If you can, please just tell us a bit more about your client and his experience today now that the court proceedings have kicked off.
He's obviously very grateful that it's finally reached the court. It took an astounding 18 days to arrest the perpetrators, who were known to the police at the moment that the video was widely circulated on social media. We were quite astounded that it took nearly 18 days, almost 3 weeks, for the arrest to finally be effected. But he's grateful that justice, the criminal justice system, has finally sort of started its course.
I know that, from what I understand, you're not representing the others the other victims in this matter, but can you tell us anything about them, Daniel?
Yeah, so we're representing Mr. Levon Fisher, who's the gentleman who was unfortunately violently assaulted in the video, and the person you can see knocked unconscious on the video. The rest are also represented by an attorney. I'm not sure whether they've already proceeded with their civil claim against the police, but our firm has, on behalf of Mr. Fisher, already sent a letter of demand to the Minister of Police to demand payment for damages on behalf of Mr. Fisher. The criminal case that commenced today is obviously one of many courses of action or recourse that's being taken. So obviously these 8 police officers will be criminally charged and are prosecuted. There's a civil claim on behalf of the victims of the incident against the Minister of Police. And then there's obviously still the internal investigation of misconduct within the South African Police Service that will continue.
And your client, we understand, is seeking relief of up to R1 million.
Yes, for now. So the claim might be adjusted depending on as expert reports and interviews are conducted with Mr. Fisher. You tend to, that's sort of how the process works when you claim damages of this nature. It only becomes crystallized once you sort of commence with the case and actually have him evaluated by psychologists and medical experts.
Yeah. Daniel, I want to go to this. If you look at the charge sheet, they've been charged with, among others, 1 count of attempting to defeat the ends of justice and assault by way of threats. Now, what does that relate to? Was this after the fact? Was this what they did to not only your client, but the other victims after the fact?
Yes, I think a lot will still become clear as the proceedings commence. Obviously, we haven't had sight of any of the docket at this stage. They're still in the initial bail proceedings, which have taken up the entire day. But more will become clear. I mean, we have to admit it's quite a long list of charges that are being brought against these 5 individuals. And one would hope that all 12 of the charges stick. It's sort of a decision that you have to take when you're the prosecuting authority is do you sort of take the shotgun approach, or do you rather go for very specific charges? But we're confident that if IPID is of the opinion that all 12 of the charges should have been brought, that all charges are therefore solid and that there's good reason for the 8 gentlemen to be charged on those charges.
Daniel, if I speak to, many people, that video went viral about, about this incident. A lot of people still want to know. So, what do we know about what led to it? What detail are you within, are you able to share with us tonight about what actually led to this?
Well, we got a glimpse of it today in the bail proceedings, where one of the accused testified that the vehicle was a nuisance. That's what his direct words were. So now the question becomes, if that's going to be the defense of these 8 individuals, that they violently assaulted the 3 people in the car because they were a nuisance on the road, then the question becomes, well, is it justified to assault people, point firearms at them, and obstruct justice because they were a nuisance? So it's going to be interesting to see what defense is raised by these 8 individuals. other question marks, obviously, that exist at the moment is who's paying for the defense of these 8 individuals? Is the state, and if in effect, therefore, the taxpayer, footing the bill for the defense of these 8 individuals? And therefore, Action Society has sent a letter to the National Police Commissioner asking clarity regarding this. Because our position is that these, if I can call them quite frankly, thugs, should not be supported by taxpayer money for the defense.
Well, what we understand is they've been suspended with pay, so they're still probably under the marquee of the state. And we've already seen that they've been able to retain quite high-profile lawyers from what we can see so far. Let's just quickly go, Daniel, to what we know about the Deputy President's whereabouts himself. Now, we did get a statement from his office saying he was not in any of those vehicles, but this is an aspect that IPID appears to be continuing to investigate. What do you know about this? Could he have been there? Was he there or not?
Well, again, it's something that arose and we got a glimpse of during the bail proceedings today, is there was the suggestion that the Deputy President was in the vicinity of the incident. I think more will still become clear. I know that the Democratic Alliance have already started asking questions, and that the DA leader in Gauteng, Salim Simanga, has already asked for confirmation of whether he was there. I mean, especially in light of the fact that it was so vehemently denied initially that Paul Mashatile was there. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the criminal proceedings, and more will become clear. I mean, at the moment, we are just at this bail phase, and the bail phase and the testimony that's given here won't necessarily be the defense that's raised later on during the case. But yes, there's still a lot of water that needs to pass this bridge.
All right, Daniel Eloff, thank you for talking to us tonight from Hunter Spies Incorporated, representing one of the victims in that highway assault in early July.